One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart of steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. A metal mayhem that will never die. With engines roaring, he paves his way. A legend in the making, day by day.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's another beautiful Thirsty Thursday. Let's get it. Obviously, we have a freak ton to discuss this morning, as you guys can see from the title. Iran threatens Hormuz, as well as Venezuela death toll soars, as well as Trump speaks. Now, when we're talking about Venezuela, there was a humongous, originally reported 7.1 magnitude earthquake, but it actually got rated again. It was actually a 7.5. So the initial reportings, you'll see 7.1, and then you'll see other reportings at 7.5. That's why. Anyways, so let's go ahead and pretty much give you guys the chronological breakdown of what we're going to be discussing this morning. There is a lot. We have a lot of stories to get through. First, we do have to get into Trump and NATO Secretary General Root. I always forget how to say Root. I don't know how to say his last name. But anyways, on Iran, they're discussing, over there in the White House yesterday. So I figured it'd be good for you guys to, if you didn't catch it yesterday, it's best for us to catch a little bit, maybe the front half. We don't have to take the entire questions and all of that stuff. That would take way too long. And then we have, of course, the breaking major 7.1 magnitude earthquake strikes Venezuela, but it actually got evaluated at 7.5. And the amount of destruction that happened over there is insane. I'll tell you guys the numbers here in a minute. Then we have Venezuela rocked by back-to-back powerful earthquakes. So it sounds like there was an actual double earthquake there. And then massive structure fire breaks out in Pennsylvania. This happened yesterday as well. I was watching it break live. It happened last night, like super late, actually. It happened around, I think, 8-something p.m. Central Standard Time. So yeah, I was watching it happen all live. Sad things going on for sure. Then here we got some numbers on Venezuela just as of 6 hours ago. The very first numbers we're getting is 32 dead and 700 plus injured, but that's not the actual number, okay? The death toll has now risen as of this morning, just 3 hours ago. 3 hours later, basically, was 164 dead and 970 plus injured in Caracas, which is over there, one of the main cities over there in Venezuela. Then we have Iran's latest. IRGC issues warning to vessels entering the Hormuz Strait. Now, as you guys can see in the thumbnail here, yes, that is exactly what we're showing. Is there is some danger? In danger? Question mark? Yes, there is. There is some danger, and we're going to be getting into that here in a moment. And then we got Rubio on deadly Venezuela earthquakes. U.S. pledges aid as well. That comes out early this morning, just an hour ago. And then we have from the Fox News side of things, because as you guys know, we're following Trey Yingst a little bit on his stories. Well, not his stories, his reporting, I should say. All the other side stuff that when Fox and Friends start asking him questions, I really don't care about that. He does a good job on the front half of reporting, and then the second half is kind of more biased stuff, But anyways, High-profile Dem turns on Mamdani and issues warning as well. And I'm not sure what that warning might be. I'm not sure. This coming out just a couple hours ago. And then Iran is, quote, scared because of Trump, Senator Rick Scott says. We will see about that for damn sure. Let's see here. We also have a big deal that's happening. As you guys know, we've been reporting since basically the beginning of this week about the SCOTUS, about the Supreme Court's decisions on a few things. Birthright citizenship, stuff to do with asylum seeking and stuff like that. So they just actually ruled this morning, just 26 minutes ago. It's breaking. Supreme Court deals big win in gun rights case as well, by the way. And then the other one, the one that's actually a very big one as well, is SCOTUS ends TPS for Haitian and Syrian nationals in favor of Trump. Now, it says here, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Trump administration, clearing the way to remove temporary protected status for more than 356,000 Syrian and Haitian immigrants living in the U.S. The decision could impact thousands of families who have been allowed to live and work in America under humanitarian protections. Well, again, remember when it comes down to asylum seeking, we did that wrong in the very first place, letting them come here. The truth be told, the way that asylum works is you're supposed to go to your nearest country that is safe to you. I can tell you in Haiti, the nearest location is not going to be us. Same thing with, Syrian refugees and stuff like that. There's other locations that they could be going to. And instead, they kind of used our system to be able to do that. So anyways, listen, before we get into the madness, let's quickly do our call to actions real quick, and then we'll get into the madness this morning. Make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side. I very much appreciate it. And it's free to do so. Hit that subscribe button. So what we do Monday through Friday. And then, of course, we have members only on Saturday morning, man. It's a good time. We don't discuss any of this shit. We definitely try to have, a good time and stay away from this shit. Speaking of members, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $2.99 a month, making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, politics, all that great shit. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. And we have a Discord server for all you legends. Make sure you guys go in the video description down below where we have the invite link for all of you guys. That's where, as a community, we love to hang out and chat and, shoot the shit. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms that are scrolling around the screen. At any time, you can donate to those. And, of course, I get 100% of the proceeds. And, of course, we'll read out loud anything that comes our way, just like a normal super chat. So we've got our email up. We're going to be always scanning. All right, good morning to everybody, man. I always appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We got Mr. Al Patterson dropping it like it's hot, right in the very beginning here and sending off 5 gifted memberships. Let's fucking go. Not only helping me, but 5 others in the IWF, man. I very much appreciate that. Good morning to you, kind sir, as well as Sterling Whale coming out and gifting out a membership as well, making it rain. Very much appreciate you guys, man. Helping out now total of 6 people in the IWF. I can't thank you guys enough for that. All right, let's see here. Let's see what we got here. We got Motobomb Virginia. We always appreciate you and the coffee crew for the raids, the love, support. Same thing with, Carney Vanguard, all of you guys. Sick Bastard, thank you guys for showing so much love. We got Carney as well as brother Pitbull over there in the UK. We always appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with us this morning. We got PJ as well. We got Charles Darwin from Down Under. Always appreciate you as well as Vanguard Critters. Let's see here. We got PJ in the building. Always appreciate you guys. Virginia Chaos, Seymour Cannabis. Good morning. Good morning, Steve Posey. Thank you for all hanging out with us. We got Easy Frank as well. And yes, that's right. Already ahead of me. I like it. We got Liquored Up with Poncho as well. Good morning. Good morning, brother KP. Don't worry. We got our left-handed tobacco ready on deck. So we got Steve Easy as well. Good morning to you, kind sir. We got Gary as well. And we're almost caught up here, it looks like. Anyways, I might be pump faking myself. We got Two Wheel Jesus. Good morning. We got Sterling Wheel, as we already know. Good morning. We got TNT. Thank you for hanging out with us. We got No Grow as well. Mike, did you see the socialists swept the New York elections last night? No, I didn't actually pay attention to NY like that, but I definitely I'm interested. Now that we do have something breaking out this morning about New York, about Mamdani, and it's like a fellow Democrat to Mamdani that is giving him like shit, I guess. And yeah, New York has been cooked for a minute. It's nothing new for damn sure. Let's see here. We got brother Ghost Eagle as well. Good morning to you. Appreciate you for hanging out with us. Don't make us wait. Yeah, exactly. I'm about to get on it. I promise you. Let's see here. We got Charlie Rose. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for hanging out with us this morning. We got Tootie Bug saying Mike be ballin'. What's up? What's up? Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well. We got Mr. 13. Yes, sir. Always appreciate you guys. All right, let's get into the madness this morning. We have a lot to discuss. And we're going to be skipping through a lot of things because like I just told you guys, we have a humongous morning ahead of us in the aspect of news. So we're going to be skimming through a lot of things. We're not going to be listening to the entirety of, for instance, what we're about to see here at the White House yesterday with NATO Secretary and Trump. We're going to just get kind of like the front monologue here, and then we'll move on because we don't have 46 minutes to listen to this whole thing, obviously, right? So also, for your guys' own knowledge, we're going to speed this up to 1.25. So they may sound a little hyper, but that's just us trying to cram in everything.
Happening with the NATO secretary. Let's listen in on Live Now from Fox.
Involved when they weren't too nice to us in our recent little military skirmish, but he is a man that's respected by everybody. And Mark, maybe you'd like to say a few words.
Absolutely. And a few things I want to share with the media, with you being here at present.
They need to fix that audio for real. I mean, it sounds like the microphone is way across the room or something.
First of all, about Iran. I really want to make clear how important it is what you are doing on Iran. This is, first of all, about the nuclear capability Iran was basically getting its hands on. And it would have been a threat to the region. It would have been a threat to the whole world. This is a country which is exporting chaos. It is exporting terrorism. And they were
let me get on top of that right here, right now, while you guys are calling me out and shit. All right, that's fine. We'll pull it out. Shit. All right, now we're ready to rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Very near to getting their hands on the nuclear capability. You've seen last week with the G7, all the leaders in the G7 applauding the...
Oh, shit, real quick. We got a 420 coming in from Sterling Wheel saying, may the smoke be counterclockwise and plentiful. Yes! It absolutely is, and I very much appreciate that 420 in the chat. Making it rain, Sterling.
Fact that this nuclear capability has been degraded. This is extremely important, and I just want to make this clear, because sometimes people think, why was this whole Iran thing going on? This is about security, about safety. This is the leader of the free world taking responsibility beyond the shores of the United States for the rest of the world, and this is what you did. I know there have been debates about whether your allies in Europe were with you enough. I just want to say one thing. Which is but let me say one thing. Frank. I know you think that, but let me, and I know that, about the, let's say, your irritation about that. But when you look at the numbers, 4,000 to 5,000 US planes taking off from bases in Europe. In the 6 weeks this war took place, still the ceasefire took place mid-April. Bucharest, the airport in Romania, having to close. It had to close for commercial traffic because they had to make sure that you were able to send a tanker aircraft up in the air. So this is what I know. There have been isolated cases about which you are really disappointed, but generally speaking, your European allies have been there. I really want to make the point: 4,000 to 5,000.
No, our European allies have not been there. let's call a spade a spade.
1,000 US planes taking off from European airbases. So that's about Iran. Now I want to take you, if you stay here, I go over to these boards here because I want to show.
Now this is the part that I did see. Not only did I watch a little bit of this live yesterday, but I also saw this clip on social media. So this was like the big social media point, you know what I mean?
What this president was able to achieve. And I start with this chart. This chart is about the Trump trillion.
Thank you for that, Steve Posey. We put a lot of time and effort into these topics and discussions, obviously. So thank you for that.
The Trump trillion shows you the increase Europeans and Canadians are paying into defense since you took office in 2017. Right. Trump 45 plus Trump 47. A total of extra spent by the Europeans and the Canadians of 1.2 trillion. When you look at the effect of Trump 47.
That's into the trillions. Absolutely. It's good.
So the isolated effect of the extra defense spending in 2020.
That it's not all coming from the United States. I mean, primarily it's coming from the United States. Alone last year, I think was $996 billion, so almost $1 trillion.
And in 2026, you see almost $140 billion extra spent nominal on defense by the Europeans and the Canadians. And also this year, you will again see an increase by about 120 billion, which brings a total in 2 years of over $250 billion. I can assure you, this is because of Russia, because of the threat, but I'm also
What's up, Christopher Collins? Good morning.
absolutely convinced that you, being President of the United States, being consistently pushing for something which since Eisenhower has not been achieved, which is the Europeans equalizing their defense spending with the United States, this is your evidence. Then, when it comes to jobs, look here. In total, 195,000 jobs being supported by investments. Investments.
Hey, trust me, I've had my fair share of internet problems throughout the many, many years of me live streaming, and man, it can be a pisser.
From European companies into
No
the United
worries.
States, 83,000 jobs supported by that. 112,000 jobs created by the fact that Europeans are massively, about half of all their defense spending when it comes to defense industrial output is spent in the United States. 112,000 jobs. Last year, they spent $54 billion on US defense industrial output. There is now a order catalog, order backlog of $300 billion. So $300 billion of defense spending from Europeans buying this in the US over the next couple of years, which is already on the order book. Last year, 54 billion, the total now order book of 300 billion, totally almost
I never thought I'd see the day, Easy Frank. You hate that side so much, but it's awesome that you're willing to participate.
200,000. These are real jobs, real people. Like you had yesterday when you spoke in Pennsylvania, the people behind you. But I want to say two things more. If you
Real quick, that's a big W, Steve Easy. Are you serious? Because don't you guys like survive on like Elon Musk's, internet or whatever it's called?
Well, first of all, to get all of this done, we had to increase the defense industrial output. There is a big problem. The problem is that both in the United States and in Europe, we are not producing enough. Our stockpiles have to
Hell yeah, Blue. We love Kieran. Kieran is the homie.
be replenished.
Good morning.
Ukraine and what we do there, and for all other reasons. You have taken leadership here. Last week, you signed the defense procurement.
Yes, Starlink. I couldn't think of it off the top of my head. Yes.
You made it possible for companies to work together to be able, therefore, to ramp up their defense production. You have been very harsh with them a couple of weeks ago. I had one of them over in my office. Yeah, it was really harsh.
Hell yeah. We all love Kieran, man. We got to have the Kieran is gay song on here. That would be epic. That would be good times. Welcome in, Kieran, by the way.
Why are you gay?
That's a question that I got for you.
You are gay.
He said it anyways. But hey, we very much appreciate it, homie. Thank you for hanging out with us over here on Insane Wheels, where we report world news, politics, all that shit. Listen, man, this is what we do Monday through Friday. Good times.
I had one of them over in my office. He was still trembling. One of the CEOs. And I said, this is good. This is exactly what we need. Because we need this extra defense output. This is important for Europe. When I pointed at all these jobs, of course, also many jobs being created in Europe and in Canada. But again, almost 200,000 here in the United States, supported by all these investments. But it is about defense industrial output. And this is also what the Ankara summit has to be about. The whole first day will be about defense industrial production.
See, I like Starlink too, but it's very expensive. It is a very costly thing.
Because we can spend as much as we want, but we need the interceptors, the missiles, we need the tanks, we need the artificial intelligence, etc., etc. And this is what you are doing that in the US, but also therefore putting all that pressure on the defense industrial base. And finally, you had the G7 last week. I think this was a big success.
I'll tell you why we're listening to it is because this happened yesterday. And we break down chronologically what happens in the last 24 hours. Okay. So that's basically it. We're not going to be playing this whole thing either. We're only taking the front monologue right here. And then we've got to move on because we've got like 14 stories to get through this morning.
What you've seen there is that, yes, you are president of the United States, but I want to make this point. For me, you are first of all the leader of the free world. In 2 weeks in Ankara, you will have not 7 countries, you will have 42 countries, the 32 allies, US and the other 31, but also 9 or 10 other countries from the Middle East, from the Indo-Pacific. And they want to hear your lead. You will provide it. I know this. This is what you do on Iran. This is what you do in defense industrial output, on spending, and all of this. You being leader of the free world. And now we see it with Ukraine. The fact that Ukraine stays strong in the fight, that you still provide all the stuff they need, paid for the European and
I haven't seen her yet, Easy Frank.
Canadian allies. Fair enough. But very important for them to stay in the fight and all the other things the United States is doing. So I'm really looking forward to that summit. I know that Erdogan, the president of Turkey, looks forward to receiving his good friend Donald J. Trump. But I just want
And the main thing that I wanted to show you guys on this was exactly what we were able to get was him showing off that graph in the aspect of NATO spending for defense and seeing the participation from European countries is a little bit more. So anyways, we're going to move on. First, you know what I think we need to do? We all need to embrace our fuck ups first. That's what we need to do.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
We always embrace the process over here. Now that shit is facts. Now we need to get our fucking sandwich on. You know what I mean?
Man, motherfuckers talk all the shit they want. But you see me, I'm sitting up here snacking on this big ass sandwich, not getting a fuck. Kiss my dick, motherfucker.
Shit. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into this next story here. So we're going to be talking about this major earthquake that happened over there in Venezuela. So the original report is major 7.1 magnitude earthquake strikes Venezuela. Now, it sounds like there was back-to-back earthquakes, as well as them also reevaluating a 7.1 magnitude earthquake in Venezuela is actually being re-rated at 7.5. So anyways, this is a humongous ordeal. It took a lot of people. The latest updated numbers that we have for you guys right now from this is 164 dead, 970 plus injured. So this is in one of their main cities over there in Venezuela. This is Caracas. Here we go.
My name is Josh Breslow, and I do want to get you back to a big breaking story that we are covering with these back-to-back earthquakes.
Oh, it actually brought up the wrong report, but because I have many reports on this. But first, I'll go ahead and play this real quick, because this is the updated number. So
and we're talking major earthquakes taking place over in Caracas. Now you can see the damage left behind as we continue to get updates from acting president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, saying once again, the death toll has gone up. I do want to pop this up on your screen right here as she says at least 164 people are now confirmed dead, 971 injured after those powerful earthquakes that rocked Venezuela. If you are just joining us, we are talking about a 7.2 magnitude earthquake as well as a 7.5. Now, President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio have put out statements here and discussed this. This is the post from President Trump on Truth Social as he says, quote, "The two major earthquakes that just hit the great people of Venezuela are both massive in scale and have left a devastating number of deaths.
What's up, brother sick bastard? Good morning.
The USA stands ready, willing, and able to help." Now, we also heard from the acting president, Delcy Rodriguez. She spoke a bit earlier on this morning. There was no English translation. However, she posted on social media saying, quote, "We thank U.S. President Donald Trump and his administration who have been in constant contact with Venezuelan authorities offering support and solidarity to the people of Venezuela in the face of this tragedy that has plunged us into mourning." Again, she now confirms, Delcy Rodriguez, that 164 people have died, and sadly, that death toll is only expected to rise. We're also getting different reaction that's coming in from across the world here. We have President Dr. Afan Ali, who is the president there of Guyana, saying, "As neighbors, we are deeply saddened by the scale, magnitude, and destruction caused by the two powerful back-to-back earthquakes that struck Caracas yesterday, and so far claiming dozens of..."
See, you know what's interesting is I actually didn't know it was a back-to-back. I was watching the destruction of the first earthquake live yesterday. I was watching live from Associated Press. I was watching live from a whole bunch of different sources. Anyways, I was watching this whole thing go down. I didn't know until actually this morning, since we started reporting this, that there was a double back-to-back earthquake there. And that's just, I mean, terrible.
Lives and injuring hundreds. We stand in solidarity with the people of Venezuela. As neighbors, we are ready to offer assistance within our capacity. Our love, prayers, and thoughts are with the families of those affected and the people of Venezuela. Again, we do have live images that are starting to come into our newsroom here showing the aftermath just hours after those 7.2 and
that's actually not even the worst of it. What you're seeing is a whole like downed apartment complex or something. That is to say the least, of the damage. I mean, the damage that I was witnessing live from, like what I was saying, from the Associated Press yesterday was insane, actually. I couldn't believe the amount of destruction.
0.5 magnitude earthquake struck the area.
Orlander,
Again,
good morning.
a lot of rubble and a lot of damage. Crews working to assess all of that. And we have search and rescue teams, not just there from Venezuela, but from other countries, including the U.S., sending a team out there to work to maybe find some of the victims there and work, of course, to survey all of that damage. We'll keep you updated here as we get any additional information on Live Now from Fox.
All right. And so obviously that's what we're doing, is following all of these things. So let's go ahead and move into our next situation that I was watching live last night as well. I was watching this I think it was about 9 o'clock last night, Central Standard Time, where I live. In Pennsylvania, there was a massive structure fire that broke out about 8:30 last night in Pennsylvania. So let's go and bring this up and figure out what's going on. Also, you know what we haven't done yet? Fuck, we're way behind. You know what we haven't done? We haven't done the money part. Let's just go ahead and get that over with. It's quick.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Now that's actual factuals. Always appreciate you guys, but
Denied.
we still love you. All right, let's go ahead and get into this.
News out of Pennsylvania, a massive commercial building fire burning right now. This is in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and this is a live look over that commercial building on fire right now. Multiple fire crews on the scene trying to battle this and get it under control. You can see those massive flames. Again, this is a commercial building. No word yet on exactly what kind of building or business this might be, but this is a 4-alarm response at this point. The first alarm coming in around 8:40 p.m. local time. This is on the 300 block of North Front Street there.
Hey, CMC, hold on. Let me just say something. Listen, I'm not too good for anything. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I will take some pennies, real pennies, not wheat pennies, real pennies. If you have real pennies, I'll take that. That works.
In Allentown, Pennsylvania. And we also have this from the police department there in Allentown saying there is a traffic and safety alert due to this large structure fire currently being investigated and worked on the 300 block of Front Street. They say, please stay clear of the area and avoid all non-essential travel near the scene until further notice. Emergency personnel are on the scene there. Again, this is a live look from Allentown, Pennsylvania, as crews are battling this massive commercial building fire. We are going to keep an eye on this. We'll actually,
of course. And this is actually the latest that we got from this, by the way. I was watching this happen late last night, going into late last night, and this was the report that they gave. It says emergency crews were working to control a large structure fire in Allentown, Pennsylvania on Wednesday night. According to the Allentown Police Department, police are asking everyone to stay clear of the area and avoid all non-essential travel near the scene until further notice. Emergency personnel are currently on the scene as the situation is being investigated and worked on. I was hoping that I would see the amount of respond, where we actually had like a response of 100 firefighters or whatever the case is. Usually we kind of get those numbers, but they didn't include it today. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. We've got some Iran latest regards, this is just as of 3 hours ago. So this is a lot of the most breaking stuff that's happening right now, as well as we do have some breaking court decisions that are happening from the Supreme Court this morning. So we got a lot to discuss. But first, we got to get into Iran. IRGC issues warning to vessels entering the Strait of Hormuz. Now, this is why I made this thumbnail the way that I did today. In danger, question mark? Yeah, the question, that is the question today. And yes, I would say absolutely these things, these ships are absolutely in danger right now as they're making threats. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll quickly get into it. Here we go.
Here out of the Middle East as we talk about the conflict between the U.S. and Iran, as well as the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. This morning, we are getting yet another warning that is coming in from the IRGC, and it relates to the Strait of Hormuz. Take a look as this is coming in from I-24 News English reporting, quote, The IRGC, that is, of course, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, warns that any vessel transiting the Strait of Hormuz through routes otherwise announced by Iran is in danger and, quote, will be dealt with. So yet another warning coming in. Now, I-24 English also saying that Lebanese and Israeli sources deny the reported IDF.
Oh shit. You got some 1943 steel pennies, cuh? Shit. I'll definitely take some.
Israel Defense Forces withdrawal from parts
Steel pennies
of
are
Lebanon
badass.
buffer zones. We have, of course, been checking in as that it does appear to be part of that memorandum of understanding between the U.S. and Iran. President Trump.
What's up, Dragon Classy? Good morning, by the way.
Also weighing in on the fact that the Senate kind of flipped and took a vote on the War Powers Act.
Sterling, the answer is absolutely yes. I just need to get proper storage facilities here where I live.
And essentially flip-flop, now saying that they are voting against it. So he said, quote, wow, the Senate just changed its vote on Iran from 50 to 48 against to 50-47 for Rand Paul and Bill Cassidy changed. Thank you to Leader John Thune, Lindsey Graham, Bernie Moreno, and all. This vote puts Iran on notice. Again, a lot going on here. As always, want to bring in Jonathan Saye over at the Foundation for Defensive Democracies to talk all about it. Jonathan, as always, thank you so much for being here with us.
Hi, Josh. Great to be with you again.
And I always feel like the first question I ask you is about some kind of threat from Iran. So the IRGC now talking about those who are traveling through the Strait of Hormuz in the different elements, different areas there that are not designated as okay. What do you take away from this latest threat?
Well, Josh, to your point, ideally, we would not be hearing from threats coming from the Islamic Republic as we've enacted an MOU with them. But again, just a reminder as to what regime we're dealing with here. But what is notable is that although there's an agreement in place, and in theory, the main threat posed by the regime was nuclear, we're now in a situation where because the Islamic Republic does not want to provide any compromises or incentives on the nuclear front, they're trying to put more other items on the table, meaning
real quick before he answers the rest of that, make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side. Listen, you guys don't have to like all the craziness that's happening around the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here on Insane Wheels. So thank you for that. Appreciate the engagement. Here we go.
The Strait of Hormuz, as well as the conflict with Israel and Hezbollah. So from their perspective, as long as they can put different non-nuclear related item on the table, it would distract the bigger picture from really taking place. So that's been their strategy for the past while. The question really is as to what are the real implications?
In the aspect of the Strait you're asking, I can show you the live view right this second. Let me go ahead and refresh and make sure that I'm completely renewed here, which I am now. Let me go ahead and bring up the map. I looked at it this morning, and there, as you guys can see, it looks like there's movement, but there really isn't. There isn't like an actual, there's not much movement here, okay? Let me show you why I can even say that in the first place is look at all these ships that are standing by. You know what I mean? These are all vessels and ships that are just standing by. And the majority of them are still anchored, like the actual tankers and stuff like that, which is the red dots. Those are the actual tankers themselves. And then all the green and stuff is just normal cargo. But they're still anchored up at the same locations that they have been. And they do move slowly, but there is, discussions about that the ones that have made some travel actually did pay a toll of some kind. So that would be a breach of the MOU as well. But there's a lot of things that are being breached right now. But anyways, enough of that for right now. We'll bring it up later if we see any type of other breaking news about the Strait. We'll bring that up. Here we go.
Implications of that. Are we going to see repercussions coming against the regime, given that they've again continued to more or less not block the Strait, but at least restrict its flow?
And I did not have you on yesterday, surprisingly, because I feel like you're part of the payroll at this point. But I wanted to ask you about
what's up, brother Hardwire? Good morning to you as well.
Of the situation here with the War Powers Act and all of that, because it seems as though regardless of what happens there in the Senate, in the House, this war, so to speak, this conflict will continue.
It appears that way as well. Primarily, if you look at some of the polls, the idea here is that most Americans do actually favor a systemic transfer of power in Tehran. I think what a lot of us don't want to see is a prolonged another version of a Middle East conflict. And the Islamic Republic and the nature of how it conducts itself does not necessarily have to get us there either. I know that a lot of the focus was the economic cost that was imposed by the regime, and that's what perhaps led to a rather early ceasefire. But we still have a lot of leverage on the table.
Yeah, Steve Easy, that's an interesting number that you got there. And I would say that it would probably be about that number. It would probably be about that number.
So either we are
from at least from what I've seen, you know, I would suspect anywhere from 15 to 20%.
Able to take advantage of that, capitalize it, and actually maybe get a deal, as the president noted, or aspires to achieve something that would go beyond a 2000.
Yes, I think that she did, Steve Posey, but I'm not 100%. We haven't gotten many updates since, so you know,
15 JCPOA in an ideal scenario, or we maximize our leverage within Iranian territory and actually get a systemic transfer of power in Tehran. Anything in between risks us again really wasting our foreign policy capital on a conflict that is not going to achieve us anything in the long term.
And another thing I want to ask you about from yesterday is we heard from Iran's parliamentary speaker. That was early in the morning as he.
So the IRGC, basically, they're like the headline says right here, vessels will be, quote, dealt with if passing through the strait. Yikes.
Essentially said that the deal that was reached, that memorandum of understanding, which he actually refers to as Tehran's memorandum of understanding, is a clear sign that the U.S. has been defeated in this war. Of course, we've heard from President Trump. We've heard from Secretary Heggs.
Okay, before Jonathan gets on to that thing there, Mike, have they started building that canal? You know, the honest truth is I don't 100% know, but I don't think so. What I do know is the pipeline that is actively going through Saudi Arabia is also going to be, well, I mean, the one that is already there in place, the one that we've talked about before, and then them breaking it off over into the Gulf and stuff like that, or into the Strait rather, and then actually where it goes through Israel as well. Yeah, that one is going through just fine. That's what actually needs to happen. I think a canal can be easily just as threatened by the region, easily. I think pipelines are a little bit easier to deal with. Anyways.
That's saying that's clearly not the case. So break down kind of your thoughts on those remarks overall.
They are by no means surprising. This is a regime that relies heavily on its image and the propaganda that is able to project.
Hardwire, are you kidding me? Do you know who you're talking to? I'm somebody that like collects like full-on numismatics, okay? Like, I mean, in the aspect of gold and silver and stuff like that. World coins, I'm not really into, to be honest. I don't really know the history behind them as much as I should. But I'm somebody that you can geek out with on that shit. I love that stuff.
Whether internally or regionally. But we need to look at a bit of a detail when it comes to Tehran's decision-making process. Even though there is technically a supreme leader, assuming he's in full capacity to actually lead the country, and he's succeeded his father about a month ago at this point. That said, there's still some rifts and disagreements amongst not only versus hardliner versus reformist, quote unquote, even within the hardline dynamics of the Islamic Republic. There's a lot of opposition to this deal. They're under the impression that they had the upper hand and they want to make sure they capitalize on that.
And they still think that to a certain extent. They know that they don't have, you know, the leverage on the aspect of military front, but they do understand, obviously, the strait. And that's something that they've used as a defense for the last 47 years. I mean, let's just be real about it. That was the threat back then. Hey, if you ever fuck with us, we're shutting this shit down. And yeah, that's why anytime the United States or Israel in particular has gone after the proxies or after Iran, they've done it by proxy, obviously.
Which is why we're seeing an Islamic Republic that's going beyond discussing nuclear and actually demanding to have full control over the Strait of Hormuz. That was never the case prior to this war. So the perception in Tehran has fundamentally shifted. They are having more or less a hard time selling it domestically to the average regime support base.
Oh, wow. This is fucking big news. I didn't know this. Okay. So, Mike, I found out this AM that Turkey charges for passage on their strait. So the narrative that this is unprecedented is false. Interesting. I actually didn't know that. I thought all straits around the globe have been, I mean, notoriously they have been, you know, where the passage was, it's an international waterway. No one actually controls it. But it's interesting how Turkey took advantage of a geographical location, just like how Iran is seeming to do as well. So that is interesting. I didn't know that. So thank you for schooling me on that.
So they also have their own challenges. But this is to say, I think everyone, both on the American side and on the Iranian side, are closely eyeing the first concessions coming from the Islamic Republic, because so far they've been allowed to sell their oil more or less got a few sanction waivers to also repatriate those funds, but they still continue to throttle the movement in the Strait of Hormuz. Not to mention, there's the whole discussion about the nuclear dust. So that's what really, I think, is confusing a lot of folks as to how the Islamic Republic is going to hold its end of the bargain.
And I want to pop this up on your screen right here, coming in from Iran International English. A lot of these different developments. And this one actually says that an underground complex built by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps to protect former Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei included a blast-resistant room and escape tunnels beneath central Tehran. That is according to information received by Iran.
Well, that's totally not surprising, but they are obviously showing the location of it, and interesting.
International. Again, of course, we know what played out here several months ago at the start.
Well, we all knew that. I mean, I'm sure that most of their leaders have places to go to, especially, you know, the Ayatollah.
Part of Operation Epic Fury, where Ali Khamenei was taken out. He did not survive. So I have to imagine here that Iran was kind of preparing for all of this to happen. But
of course,
I have to imagine that he also was not at this location with the blast-resistant room. When
they started getting ready, like seriously, when the United States invaded Iraq. That's when they said, we're going to change the way that this happens, because you're not going to just take out our leaders and then we fall. They set themselves up. If you look at how their like different factions work, like different divisions of the IRGC, there's like 35 different factions to them. It's wild the way that they operate. It's totally, in my opinion, unique.
The strike started.
What is notable about that strike is it happened on the first day of the war. So the senior leadership decapitation was in full effect in the early few hours of that war. And of course, this paranoid regime has always had a contingency plan to secure its leaders. But what is notable, given the turbulent region that Iran is positioned in, given its history of war, going back to the 80s with
What's up, 2-4? Happy Thirsty Thursday to you, kind sir.
Iraq under Saddam Hussein, they still never developed any plan to safeguard civilian lives. Not only did they not have any shelters or bunkers or any strategy like that, let's say like the Israelis do, not only that, they actually use civilian infrastructure to wage attacks against different entities.
What's up, Blaze? And listen, man, Santa Cruz is awesome. What a great place. Shout out to you. I actually lived in Southern California, born and raised for 29 years before I moved to where I'm currently at in Northern Alabama. But man, yeah, that Santa Cruz is awesome.
You saw missiles launchers being located in residential areas. You saw them take advantage of schools and hospitals to house personnel. So that dual strategy there is quite notable. But what even goes beyond that is even though they prioritized the lives of their senior leadership, they were still eliminated the first day. But I would end that with this. It is quite an extensive military network of the Islamic Republic we're dealing with. What was notable is that we did not see any attack against mid-level commanders. It was either really senior figures or lower-level folks that were actually carrying out some of the operations, such as maybe attacking the Strait of Hormuz or launching missiles, which tells you about the U.S. strategy as to, in the long term, it raises that whether it was really about systemic regime change or it was more so to eliminate certain people and to get the new generation to behave differently. So far, we haven't seen anything resembling that.
And popping this up once again from I-24 News English, I want to get your take on this because it says Lebanese and Israeli sources deny reported IDF withdrawal from part of Lebanon buffer zones. Can you?
Well, that's not surprising at all. That's to be expected. I wouldn't think that Israel, or I should say the IDF, would be withdrawing from southern Lebanon. I just didn't see that happening at all. All right, let's see if we have any other governmental reports here. If not, we got to move on. We have a lot to discuss. We got enough Iran right there. All right, quickly, let's go ahead and bring our attention to Rubio. He has these remarks regarding that big double earthquake that we were just talking about in Venezuela that killed a lot of people, man. I mean, this is a humongous ordeal, man. Nearly 1,000 people injured. It's just chaos. Anyways, let's go and bring this up. And we'll quickly see what Rubio's talking about. There's going to be, I guess, U.S. is pledging some aid to Venezuela as well.
And listen in.
In Venezuela, I had an opportunity to talk earlier this morning with Delcy Rodriguez, the acting president. We're obviously awaiting we're already deploying search and rescue teams from Fairfax County, Virginia, and Los Angeles. There'll be some others we'll add. That's their most immediate need right now is search and rescue efforts. They have a much of collapsed buildings, and so they'll need a lot of help in terms of digging through that. The airport there is badly damaged, so we'll have to rely on the Department of War to deploy assets there. And then we're also helping them with some overhead imagery, especially.
That's totally not surprising to me, Steve Easy. But yeah, I would assume so.
Coastal areas where they don't have full visibility over what the damage has been and what the impact has been. Those are the acute, like short-term needs over the next 48 to 72 hours, because in search and rescue, you're trying to get to people while you can still save their lives. They're buried under rubble. And other countries are responding as well. The Qataris have already offered assistance, as we spoke to them earlier today as well. El Salvador has stepped up, and multiple countries around.
Just for context, I pulled it back up here. Death toll rises to 164 dead and 970 plus injured. Wow.
On the region, including Chile, and others have reached out to us to communicate and get that happening.
Oh, they're
As
so
we
loud.
move forward with that response, with the sort of
Good
the
morning.
short-term phase of response recovery, the second phase, of course, will be identifying their more longer-term and acute needs. What are the things over the long term they're going to need help with? We'll have a better assessment of that after the next 48 hours when we're on the ground, and as the Venezuelan authorities get more visibility as to the level of damage in terms of housing. Where do you put all these people that don't have anywhere to go live? What we can do to help restore or help them restore their communications, their internet, their telecom, and so forth. We'll also have to manage what we expect is going to be a surge of private donation. I can imagine that there's going to be a lot of people from the United States and entities in the United States. We've already been in touch with some of the leading charities, but I know at the local level, particularly in places like where I call home in South Florida, there'll be a lot of people that are going to want to step forward and help and provide assistance. And we just need to find the way that we can step in and provide logistical support from that. In addition, of course, we've already stood up our disaster response teams at the Department of State and our humanitarian efforts. It's something we did very well in Jamaica after that storm, and it's something we're really prepared to do now. So I already spoken to Secretary Hegseth. The Department of War is going to have to play a big logistical role here, because they have the ability to land in challenging places. Right now, the airport in Caracas is damaged. One of the runways is cracked. And so, but the Department of War has the capability to land in situations like that. So we'll need that. So we have an whole of government response. It'll be big, it'll be fast, and it'll be effective. And of course, obviously, we're in touch through our embassy on the ground, where I believe we have almost full accountability.
What's up, Mama Iron Ranger? Good morning to you, by the way. Happy Thirsty Thursday. We're definitely enjoying our morning so far. Hopefully you are as well. By the way, make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen. Make sure you guys, if you're on the vertical side, listen, you don't have to like all this craziness, but you guys can like what we're doing here on Insane Wheels. So thank you guys for that. Here we go.
All of our personnel there, and of course, Americans are safe. The last point is we've also, we know there are American citizens that are inside of Venezuela now, so we've also gone through the normal processes that we set up for them to be able to communicate with us in case they need assistance or help.
Hell yeah, Amanda. Very much appreciate donating the star over there on the vertical side. Goes a long way. Appreciate that.
On this visit here, we had a very productive meeting,
Thank you,
a very
Steve.
good meeting. I know you hear that all the time. So let me just say it was a really, really good meeting with the Gulf countries. They've shared with us some very concrete concerns, ideas. And when I say concerns, I think the biggest concern.
I literally looked at my phone when that thing dinged, even though my phone's on silent. That's how bad society is right there. I hear someone else's phone ding and I'm like, oh, what did I get here?
They really just want to be informed every step along the way as we enter these negotiations at both the technical and political levels. And we want them to be involved, and we want it's helpful that Qatar is there as a mediator, but we want the views of all these countries to be reflected. We want and will not be making any decisions or commitments that in any way undermines the prosperity, stability, or security of our Gulf partners. So every step of the way, we'll create a system where we are always in communication with them.
And we're not going to play this whole thing. I'm just waiting for him to finish this front monologue right here. Don't worry. We're not going to linger on this.
And they're not reading about it in the media. No disrespect to all of you, but they really should be hearing directly from us and engaged as much as possible in this process as we move forward. And that was something that we talked about today. They have some other specific things. So one thing that came across very clear is there is zero support among the Gulf countries for any sort of toll or fees or anything that charges for the use of international.
Yeah, my phone stays super on silent all the time. I mean, I would drive myself insane. I think that I would end up having a mental disorder. Seriously. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Waters.
I can't
The
do it.
president's made it clear that's not going to happen. It's not going to be a part of
No, I can't even have vibrate on. It drives me nuts.
this. It cannot be a part of this. He made that clear again yesterday in the Oval Office in a press availability that he had. And I reiterated that point, which I think was a welcome message from our partners here to hear that as well. So, all right, let's go.
That's very true, Sterling. And he's about to get into questions and stuff like that, which we don't need to get into. All right. So, we got some interesting news coming out. It says high-profile Dem turns on Mamdani, issues warning as well. Now, I'm not really sure what that means on the issues warning thing, but we're going to get into this. It looks like Trey Yinks is on this. Let's go ahead and see what's happening here.
A slate of Mamdani back progressive.
No, it's just, okay. He was there doing a report, and then it went into this report. Got it.
Progressive sweep in their primary races, but will it spell trouble come November? Democrats say don't read too much into it.
My focus is on winning the House for the Democrats. I'm focusing on making Hakeem Speaker, and that means my
What's up, Virginia? Good morning.
focus is on races where between red to blue.
We're watching closely two open seat races that House Democratic leadership hasn't gotten involved in.
I never said we're united as a party.
The challenge for us, and I'm optimistic about our prospects, is that we get people who've been elected around the country. We come up with a coherent agenda that's totally focused on helping everyday people.
Real quick, we got Brother So Loud coming in with the 10 spot, by the way, saying thanks for the great content. Man, thank you. I very much appreciate that. It goes a long way, brother. Thank you for that. All right. Appreciate that, So Loud.
Be able to pay their bills.
But New York Attorney General Letitia James is striking a different tone, saying, quote, some of the candidates that he has supported are individuals who do not understand the politics of New York City. All of us are a little frustrated with the Democratic Party, but you don't blow it up. Let's bring in New York Post columnist and Fox News contributor.
Did you hear that? Oh, let me back that up. So, New York Attorney General Letitia James blasts Mamdani endorsements. Quote, some of the candidates that he has supported are individuals who do not understand the politics of New York City. All of us a little frustrated with the Democratic Party, but you don't blow it up. Wow. She's saying that he's blowing up the fucking party.
City. All of us are a little frustrated with the Democratic Party, but you don't.
What's up, Big Lock Joker? Good morning.
Let's bring in New York Post columnist and Fox News contributor Miranda Devine. Okay, so Miranda, I was shocked by this. Letitia James was a big supporter of Mamdani, early supporter of him. The fact that there's friction that is going on now, what is happening?
Well, I mean, I think she's absolutely right. The DSA has decided that
I'm going to speed this up a little bit. A little too slow. Here we go.
It's going to jettison any deals that they might have had with those moderate or establishment Democrats who just tried to save their own skins. The leader of the Hispanic caucus was one of the first to endorse Mamdani, and Mamdani endorsed a candidate who ousted him on Tuesday. So there's no honor among thieves. And I think, you know, you see Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and so on. They're like comical Ali while, you know, Baghdad's on fire. They're saying nothing to see here. It's an unmitigated disaster for them, but it's a good thing for Republicans because, for one thing, they can point to these fringe characters with their repellent policies that nobody in America wants, and differentiate themselves in the midterms and sort of paint the entire party as being a party of crazies. That's what Donald Trump's done very effectively.
And they have doubled down on that whole situation, meaning the Democrats have.
But the other thing to remember is not to get too terrified that communism is going to sweep the
You know, I watched about half of that Big Lock Joker, to be honest. I watched about half.
United States, because the three candidates, for instance, in New York, who are coming into Congress from the DSA, the socialists, the communists, they're not from New York. Letitia James, quite right. Not one of them is from the community. And it's really a triumph of community organizing because the turnout is so dismal. Between the three of them, they got 3% of the vote of registered eligible Democrats in New York City.
Damn,
so,
3%.
You know, people just sat at home. And I would just urge everybody with it.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what, I mean, even where I'm at, I mean, the voter turnout was so fucking low. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
You're a Republican or a moderate or a centrist or an independent, register as a Democrat in New York so that you get a say in the Democrat primaries, because once someone wins the primary, they've won the general.
Yeah, and it also looks like black voters are rejecting the socialism. None of the, and that's the base of the Democratic Party, so they should probably have a word. I want to get to Speaker Johnson. This is what he had to say about these progressives winning. Watch.
Are we going to maintain our status as a constitutional republic on our 250th anniversary? Or are we going to make a new choice and go down some road towards a communist utopia? What a split screen we're seeing. Right now, we're triumphantly hosting the World Cup games all around the country. And we're seeing people from different countries come and get a little taste of America, a little taste of freedom, of our culture and our society. And they appreciate it so much more than these socialists running for Congress.
Yeah, because they get it, Miranda. They've witnessed socialism firsthand, and they understand the negative impact, right?
Absolutely. And Mike Johnson's very good. He's articulated the Republican case against the Democrat Party based on this influx of crazy communists. And he's quite right. The rest of the world loves what they see in America, the freedom that they don't have in their countries. And I think Americans are fully aware of what's happened, even in the Anglosphere, in England, in Australia, in New Zealand, where the left has become ascendant and freedom has disappeared in many cases.
Yeah, 10 million people in the last administration didn't invade our borders.
All right. Enough of that. We're moving on. Quickly, I do want to see this. It says Iran is, quote, scared because of Trump, Senator Rick Scott says. Now, let me go ahead and see what the senator has to say quickly.
He was asked a lot about the proxies, and he said if they
and this
interfere
is
with
a very quick update as well, by the way.
sovereignty of these countries have the right to fight back.
And then right afterwards, we're getting into the Supreme Court rulings. We got 2 out of the 3, I think, that we're really waiting for. So anyways, let's go ahead and moving on up here. I don't think that they actually even show it.
And then also, Brian, he talked about NATO, and he says there's a cloud over our NATO alliance because many of these countries would not allow us to use our bases when we needed them. And he said, and they're more at risk than we are. Europe's more at risk because they have missiles that can
fire and that's what we saw when they went after Diego Garcia and it got knocked down. That was further away than France, Paris, France. GOP Senator Rick Scott joins us now. As you know, he sits on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and he was...
That's right, Sterling. Appreciate you, by the way. Let's get the likes up, everybody. Let's get the likes up.
Also very interested in that give and take. Senator, what is your takeaway after the Secretary of State said, I'm going to visit the Gulf states, and I'm going to do more listening than talking to find out their concerns. He's telling us they're in a good state and on board so far. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, first off, you should be unbelievably proud of this president. He is trying to do everything he can to bring peace to the world. What he has done in Iran is so remarkable. And we have
remarkable
the opportunity for the Middle East and the world to be more at peace because of the actions he took.
Oh, my God.
What Marco Rubio is doing right now is exactly what the president does. He listens and then he takes action.
Now, Marco Rubio is doing a phenomenal job. He's doing above and beyond what, like, even the job title is. I mean, he's done actually flawless. I mean, he's really doing a very good job. But this guy, he's going to blow some smoke up, Trump's ass right now.
So we have the opportunity for peace in the Middle East only because this president was, number one, willing to bomb the hell out of Iran and then make sure we had a blockade on the strait so they came to the table. So I believe we have every opportunity for peace. It's always up to the Iranians, whether they want it or not. But this president is absolutely committed to peace and preserving American lives, but lives all over the world.
Senator, how reassuring was it to hear the secretary talk about the toll system and the fact that it's not practical and no one is going for it? I know that was...
Yeah, but apparently they are charging tolls right this second, even though it's against the MOU. There's a lot of things that they're doing that's against the MOU right now.
Big question mark.
They just threatened this morning ships going through the strait. They said if you attempt to make a move, you're going to be dealt with.
It looks like he kind of put that to bed.
It's not going to happen. There's not going to be there's all these
that would be the host of the show here this morning.
Rumors and stories. I mean, look at what the president's saying and look at what Secretary Rubio is saying. That's reality, not what the Iranians are saying. The Iranians are full of crap. I mean, they're doing it for their own people trying to intimidate them. But the Iranians are scared to death what President Trump will do. Nobody wants to be the president of Iran right now because they know they'll get their heads blown off if they don't do the right.
Yeah, and he is kind of right about that. But the thing is he's wrong about that. These people aren't going to fill these positions no matter how many times they die. Their mindset's very different. They're like, listen, I was born for this and I'm willing to die for it. quite literally. So
right thing. This president has scared the living daylights out of Iran, and I believe we will.
Which that is true on a military front. We have definitely punched him right in the gut for sure. And yeah, I mean that part on a military front, sure, he's right about that. But anyways, I'm done listening to him. We're gonna move on. We got to get into these Supreme Court rulings. We got 2 of the big 3 that we're waiting on. And right now, let's go ahead and bring up first. Supreme Court deals big win in gun rights case. That's the first one we're going to bring up first. And obviously Fox covered this. So we're going to,
all right, welcome back.
They covered both these breaking Supreme. This is just breaking news, essentially.
We're starting to get some of these Supreme Court decisions trickling in. They just issued some major rulings on gun rights and immigration. Shannon Bream joining us live once again to break it all down for us. Shannon, what do we know?
Okay, so Bill, let me tell you a little bit about the gun case. This was out of Hawaii, where if you have a concealed carry permit, which takes some doing there, the presumption under Hawaii law was that you couldn't take it on private property unless you got express permission from the owner of that private property. So things like shops or restaurants or really any private property. Well, the court shut that down today. They say that arrangement would impose a new burden on permit holders, people who've gotten these concealed carry permits, who will have to somehow obtain permission to carry a firearm on the property before stepping foot. They say the Hawaii law here violates the constitutional right to keep and bear arms. Big win for Second Amendment folks and supporters there. This other decision dealing with the border was about if you have to arrive.
Yeah, this is about asylum. That's what it's not about necessarily straight immigration. That would be wrong. It's TPS, okay? So it's like a protective status thing for asylum, right? Now, asylum, it's very simple, okay? The way it works is the way it's supposed to work anyways, the way it's literally meant for is you go to your nearest country that's safest to you, okay, on a geographical level, right? So what the people that we should be taking asylum seekers from would be theoretically anybody in South, America and and down below, that kind of stuff. Not, I guess it would be a little bit of South America, but primarily down there. And then of course, Mexico and Canada. So theoretically up and down right there. We shouldn't be taking people from Ethiopia, from fucking Syria, all these different places, right? We shouldn't be taking in Haitians, stuff like that. So
in the U.S. to start an asylum proceeding or an asylum claim. What if you're held on the side in New Mexico? You're not allowed to come in. Immigration advocates had said people should be accepted there, but the court said no. It says we decide only that an alien standing in Mexico does not, quote unquote, arrive in the United States. The INA, International Immigration Law, neither entitles such an alien to apply for asylum nor requires an immigration officer to inspect.
Right. And so let's say, Freaky. Yes, correct. I know what you're getting at, but theoretically, let's say that Mexico was in war with, another country that's below Mexico, right? Let's say they're doing something like that. We could take asylum seekers from there to skip through Mexico to come to us because we are the next nearest, closest, safest place for them. That's the argument. Okay. So, but yes, I know what you're getting at.
Expect him. So a win for the Trump administration and the border policy that they're trying to control here, saying if you're not in physically U.S. soil, you cannot apply for asylum claims. More decisions to come. We're watching.
All right. We know you'll keep tabs on all of it for us. Shannon Bream, live at the Supreme Court. Shannon, thank you.
All right. So let's go and move on into the ending of the other one regarding the SCOTUS ends TPS for Haitian and Syrian nationals in favor of Trump. Now, quickly, let me read this because this is a big number that is being affected immediately today. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Trump administration, clearing the way to remove temporary protective status for more than 356,000 Syrian and Haitian immigrants living in the U.S. The decision could impact thousands of families who have been allowed to live and work in America under humanitarian protections. Now, again, there's going to be multiple thousands of families that are immediately impact, of course, but they didn't have the right to be here in the very first place anyway. So, I mean, it's sad that it's like this, but listen, that's the way of the road. So quickly, it looks like they're doing it while they're breaking a different story. That's what I'm looking at right now. So that's probably why I had it fast forwarded to here. So SCOTUS blog is posting the fourth and final opinion of today is in Mullen v. Doe. A challenge to ending TPS status for Syrian and Haitian nationals. The court holds that the Syrian and Haitian nationals are, quote, not entitled to orders postponing the terminations during litigation.
Is this even a properly litigated matter? If it is, if there is some sort of judicial review under the APA, Administrative Procedures Act, which is how essentially your plaintiffs here wrangled this into court, did the secretary follow the necessary steps? And they're broad steps. Essentially, all they alleged is she didn't really consult with the State Department as necessary. Of course, Homeland Security.
You be safe out there, Frank. We always appreciate it.
Said they did. How far do you dig if you're a judge into that assertion there?
Shit, what's up, Rabbit? We got Rabbit in the building. Shout out to you. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning.
She found it was in the national interest to terminate, as well as that, for example, in Syria, Assad is gone. You've got millions of Syrians going back to their home country.
It was, in particular, Steve Posey, over there in Hawaii, something to do with like a building. I don't know if it was I don't think it was a federal building, but there was something in the aspect of them carrying, and they couldn't. It actually breaches the Second Amendment, and so it got challenged all the way up into the Supreme Court and won. So I don't know the exact thing that they were fighting for, but I do know that it was about carrying in certain locations. So
a few hot spots, but it's not really a war zone as it was. Assuming the judges can look into that, how far do you look? Especially when there's so much discretion.
Yes, she is beautiful, man. And luckily, all I care about is her health and and her happiness and stuff like that. I mean, she's doing great. So I appreciate you asking.
So those are the big
congratulations
issues there. My bet would be at 6-3 with your liberals taking a more harder look at the Administrative Procedure Act. And I would not be shocked that the other justices either found that no, judicial review is not really appropriate.
Hey, Freaky, appreciate you sending the 2 jewels over there, sending the star. Appreciate that.
Or it's such a low level of scrutiny that the secretary has so much power on this that prima facie, she made a decision and that stands.
So, Bill, I want to, know, obviously this just came down. This was the fourth and final opinion of today.
Now, I only got to hear these 2. I'd like to know what the other 2 arguments that were in the Supreme Court. I don't know what they are.
The court decided that
I'll have to look them up.
Syrian and Haitian nationals are not entitled to orders post.
We got Brother Sterling Wheel coming in and gifting out a membership as well. Thank you very much. Not only helping me, but someone in the IWF, man. Very much appreciate that. W. Sterling, by the way.
Postponing the terminations during litigation. This is significant, as you mentioned. What do you expect to happen in the coming
Be safe out there, world.
days and weeks? Because obviously this will affect, hundreds of thousands of people.
Oh, I'm definitely getting my drink on tonight. That's a fact. We're getting down with our.
No, that's right. They were seeking protection against deportation. Under the law, if they were in the United States for a continuous period and the secretary declared that there had been an emergency, such as a natural disaster, war in their home countries, they were entitled to remain till that ran out, typically the 18-month period, or there was a decision.
There was ways to be able to extend it.
Otherwise, so they sought protection from any possible deportations.
Right.
It sounds like the court said that would be inappropriate, that the government is likely to prevail, perhaps has prevailed.
And that's usually where they would go into those certain cities. Where are those cities called again? Sanctuary cities.
On the merits here, and therefore they could be required to leave immediately. So it will have a lot of repercussions for folks and their families there. But, you know, again, the situation in Syria especially has come.
I think I'm going to make, food's important, ladies and gentlemen, okay? I'm going to end up doing chicken skewers wrapped with bacon, man. That's my new favorite. I love that shit.
Down, though I don't blame a number of these asylum seekers, whatever we want to call them, that they don't want to go back where there's still hot spots there. It's easy for us to say, oh, it's just a few hot spots, not a full-blown.
Hell yeah, Sterling, another gifted membership. Listen, if you guys are getting a gifted membership, make sure you guys show up for Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. We have our members only. We don't talk about any of this crazy shit. We actually have a good time. So thank you for that, Sterling.
War,
W.
but it's a very personal matter to them.
And I did want to mention here, we were talking about the next opinion day. Originally, it was slated for tomorrow. We've now learned that it appears it is going to be on Monday. That's the next day that we will get opinions. And then after that, it'll be likely either Wednesday or Thursday. So we're going to have to wait a few more days.
Wow.
Days at least there to get that birthright citizenship ruling, as well as the others that, Stephanie, we've been watching so close.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what the main one that we thought we were going to get the ruling on was on Tuesday for birthright citizenship. I totally skipped my mind when I was talking about the total of 4 cases. I know about 3. I don't know about the 4th one. So the one that we've been waiting for, we actually thought it was going to be ruled on Tuesday. And then they told us that it was going to be ruled on today, yesterday, about birthright citizenship. So we're following that, and maybe it'll be done today, but he's talking about it sounds like it's going to be extended a little bit, maybe tomorrow, the next day. Well, who knows? Anyways, that is the end of the road for us, ladies and gentlemen. We are 100% caught up in the news. All right. I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for allowing us to do this Monday through Friday. And then, of course, members only on Saturday morning. I can't thank you guys enough for your endless support, hitting that like button, and your engagement, your donations, comments in the live chat, man. I can't thank you guys all enough. Listen, we're not rating anybody today, so you guys are going to have to find your own way out. But listen, I can't thank you guys enough. God bless you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness. Until then, much love. We'll see you.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul, with a heart of steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on 2 wheels, ready to claim his throne, amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar. Insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with, fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry, a metal man.